I'm here today to talk about childhood obesity and its causes, as well as various solutions to steer our children into healthy adults. Some people think that a fat child is an unhealthy child, but what we are not aware of is that its long-term consequences and higher mortality rates of overweight children who grow into healthy adults. This has rapidly become a public health issue with the rise of fast food movement in America. Also comes the rise in illness such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease. But there are solutions to help our generation from this epidemic. Obesity in children is on the rise. Children aren't getting enough nutrition and are being fed more fried foods, and as the fast food movement takes over the U.S. According to research by David Ludwig, studies have examined change in prevalence within population over time. Rates have increased for over 25 years in the U.S. Prevalence rose more than twice as fast among minority groups compared with white groups. Showing pre-existing racial ethnic disparities, the urban poor in developing countries might be especially vulnerable because of poor diet and limited opportunities of physical activity. Childhood obesity is a significant problem and is widespread, affecting various lives. Complications for children due to childhood obesity are hypertension, chronic inflammation, increased blood clotting tendencies, and hypertensionemia. This cluster of cardiovascular disease risk factors, known as the insulin-resistant syndrome, has been identified in children as young as age 5, according to Ludwig, as well as type 2 diabetes, once virtually unrecognizable in adolescents, now accounts for many as half of all new diagnoses in diabetes in some population. The epidemic has caused harm in children, affecting them mentally and physically. Childhood obesity is prevented more than ever. Some of the causes are due to poor nutrition and lack of access of fresh, balanced food. According to childhood obesity, a public health crisis, the intake of trans fat commonly found in commercial bakery products and fast food increase risk for both cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Other factors are lack of physical exercise and modern day children. As we move towards tech-forward society, there is a transition in children's leisure activity. Television viewing is thought to promote weight gain, not only by displaying physical activity, but also by increasing energy intake. Children seem to passively consume excess amount of energy-dense food while watching television. Furthermore, television advertising could adversely affect dietary patterns at other times throughout the day. The current status quo will not eliminate the problem of childhood obesity. The only way that we will make sure that our children are getting proper nutrients and exercise is through intervention. By parents, teachers, and staffs of schools. By becoming involved, we will raise awareness of our communities. Studies show that school-based interventions are thought to be the most universal and efficient way to counteract low physical activity and fitness. Moreover, advocates target where young people spend the majority of their waking hours, which is in schools, setting the possibility to globally reach the population of interest without having to stigmatize or discriminate, and without being primarily dependent on families. Recent reviews generally show that school-based physical activity promoted with efficiency at increasing during schools, according to the U.S. National Library of Medical Institution of Health. Interventions will work because children will follow patterns their parents and teachers, and by educating our future generation, we will set up our future for success and long-term health. Together, we can help curb the statistics of childhood obesity and once again make it a thing of the past. Countries around the world, such as France, Italy, and Japan, and many European countries, feed their children fresh ingredients and teach about portion controls along with nutrition. Data shows that longevity of their children's performance, the solution is particularly and can be easily adapted into our current educational and political systems. There are many great outcomes of intervention and education of our communities. In conclusion, childhood obesity is an epidemic affecting millions of children in our nation. The consequences of obesity lead to serious illness that transfers from childhood into their adult lives. Luckily, childhood obesity can be prevented by nutrition, change in school lunches, parental and staff involvement, as well as by creating an emphasis on physical activity. Lastly, by educating staff and parents about the importance of portion control, nutritional facts, and childhood diabetes and its complications, we will be able to reduce the prevalence of obesity in adolescents.